Sponsored by Campo Roof, in business for over 45 years.
Ready, begin! M-U-S-T-A-N-D! Oh, the mighty Mustangs looking for a 3-0 start down in Strongsville tonight. We had some good ones tonight.
We had a lot of good ones.
We had a lot of good ones tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to start on the west side where I was, between two teams that are always really good. Glenville traveling to Avon, second quarter. Arvell Nelson Jr. picked off by the Eagles. Caden Clapham, look at that! Up in the air to pull it down. And Shedeur Sanders is there. Again, he was in Avon in week 1. He's there again tonight. Skip ahead, third quarter. High snap for Glenville on the punt. The punter is actually going to make a little play here. I'd love to give you his name. He wasn't on the roster, but the Glenville punter is good. He couldn't get it out for a first down, though, so Avon takes over. Speaking of good, Jackson Palmer's catch. Get another look at this thing. Yes, that counts, and that is a first down. And moments later, Cam Wendell up the gut he goes for an Avon touchdown, and the Eagles fly away tonight, 28-16 over the Tarblooders.
Our next stop, Jerome T. Osborne Stadium in Menor, the Cardinals' home opener as they welcome the St. Ignatius Wildcats to town. Ignatius got the football to start the game, and they marched right down the field. Jake Babinski takes it to the house, a 34-yard touchdown run. Wildcats take a 7-0 lead. Menor, though, answers right back. Brogan Jones finds Logan Burwald all alone, right corner of the end zone. Cardinals tie the game up at 7. Wildcats defense makes a play, stops a Cardinals drive. Jones connects Justin Hodge. James Conrad strips the football. Quinn Kennedy there for the recovery. Menor's defense responds. Check out this great tackle, Jacob Brown in coverage. Cardinals and Wildcats tied at 7 after 1, and Menor would go on to win 35-21.
All right, I was in Avon Lake. The Shoremen powering onto the scene, looking for their first win of the year. Highland coming up from Medina, going to have something to say about it. Hornets go first. It's Evan Faust on the little short pass. Slips a tackle there. Faust gets it out over the 35-yard line. Moments later, quarterback Grady Gibbs, look at the move. You can't tackle him there. 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 You can tackle him finally right there. He gets it inside the 20, and they cash the points. Their great running back, Casey Miser, watch him lunge for the pylon. Yes, he got that in for a score. Yes, that counts. And it was 7-0 Hornets. But on the ensuing kickoff, Shorty makes a play. Shoremen get a big return. It's Aiden Stewart, their big playmaker, getting free down the sideline, gets it inside the 35-yard line, and a few plays later, a phenomenal touchdown from Ezra Jones. He got out of that and then hits the accelerator, and it was tied at 7, but after that, it was all Highland from there. 34-7, the Hornets win it.
Undefeated Hawken at Gilmore Academy tonight. Lancers 1-1 on the season. Opening drive for the Hawks. 4th and 1 at the Lancers 26. Hawken going for it. Quarterback Donovan Moorhead finds Charlie Mallett, gets the first down, and then some. 3rd and goal now for the Hawks. Moorhead drops back, finds his guy Mallett again. He takes it in for the score. Hawken up 7-0. Defense forces a 3-and-out. Hawks get the ball back. Moorhead, guess who? Mallett takes it all the way down to the 1. Hawks in a great spot to double the score, and they're going to do that on the very next play. Keen Obi forces his way through a pack of Lancers. Hawken goes on to win this one 42-13. And I was at a good one tonight. Couple undefeateds. Nordonia at Mayfield. Someone getting their first loss of the season. 7:21 left before the half. Knights up 27-24. 3rd and 8 for the Wildcats. Quarterback Dario Diagostino finds Jaden Haynes in the end zone. Wildcats take a 31-27 lead. 4th and 4 for the Knights, going for it on the 33. Stephen Foucault hits Dominic Jackson in stride. The kid on the move down the sideline takes it all the way to the house. Knights retake the lead 34-31. 4th and 7 for Mayfield. Are they going to punt it? Or are they going to go for it? They go for it. Kingston Murchison, what a grab. Haynes and Mayfield once again in striking distance. Second down on the 21. D'Agostino, you want to guess who? Haynes again. 2-point conversion is good. This was a good old-fashioned shootout. It is currently 59-46 Nordonia in the fourth quarter.
Now, Schwab's Pick of the Week, sponsored by the Cleveland Furniture Company. Family owned, Cleveland proud.
All right, that time of the show, my pick. This week, it was a no-brainer for me. It's a showdown in the Chagrin Valley Conference. Kirtland Hornets hosting the Perry Pirates. Now, 2 years ago, the Pirates ended a Hornets win streak. It was the nation's longest active win streak. It was on Kirtland's home field. Last year, Kirtland wins a triple overtime thriller in a monsoon at Perry. So what would happen tonight? It's 36-21, Kirtland in the third quarter when our camera arrives. Perry would cut into the Hornet lead. Colton Chrisinger connecting on a 34-yard field goal. Pirates trailing 36-24 after 3. Second play of the fourth quarter. Hornets extending the lead. Ty Bledsoe breaking through the defensive line. Nothing but green in front of him, and he goes in for the score. 52-yard house call. Kirtland goes for 2. It's Jake Laverty pitching to John Silvestro, and it's 44-24 Hornets. Perry trying to get back into this. Brody Petrocelli fumbles the ball. Kirtland recovers it all the way, and it would put the game away, actually, for the Hornets. Very scary, though. Just a few minutes left. Perry quarterback McCoy Richards scrambling to the sideline. He'd get hit, knocked out of bounds, suffers a leg injury. He would get put in an air cast, transported to a local hospital. We wish McCoy and the Richards family and Perry all the best going forward. Kirtland wins this big game tonight, 44-24.
Well, our game of the week on the Rock tonight had Olmsted Falls coming off a win over Brunswick, taking on 2-0 Strongsville. One of the early surprise teams in our area. Early on in the first quarter, Olmsted Falls quarterback Cameron Pesh under center, drop back pass over the middle. Cade Selaski pulls it in. Bulldogs strike first, but the teams traded scores. Second quarter, Strongville's Nick Carasella, play action, floors the gas pedal. Sophomore starting quarterback. He goes 40 yards. Mustangs now ahead 14-13 just before the half. Patch must have been watching that last play because he says, maybe a play action keeper. That's a good idea. It is for him. 31 yards to the house. Bulldogs lead 21-14 while the band plays at halftime. Oh, look at that. Third quarter, Carasella throws a rope to Alex Espay. The senior shrugs off one man, lowers his shoulder, bulldozes another. Mustangs tied at 21. No scores in the fourth quarter, and we're going to overtime, folks. Mustangs miss their attempt. Now Aiden O'Malley has the game on his foot. Chip shot. It's good. Bulldogs go on the road. They take the overtime win in the first ever meeting between these two schools. It did not disappoint, and our Rachel Veda was there and has more.
Football players dream of playing at the high school, collegiate, and even professional level. And that's exactly what Strongsville Mustangs head coach Jason Trusnick did before coming around again. The Nordonia High School and Ohio University grad made it to the NFL in 2007. His 10-season career as a linebacker and special teamer took him to the New York Jets, Cleveland Browns, Miami Dolphins, Carolina Panthers, Minnesota Vikings, and New Orleans Saints. 6 years after retiring from the league, Trusnick decided he wasn't done with the game just yet. So he saddled in as the Mustangs head coach in 2024.
You know what? I want every kid to know out there that, look, your dream can come true, right? To work your butt off, push forward, kind of believe in yourself. And that's what I kind of push towards my team, too, is just believing in yourself. So to be back here and giving these kids hope is exactly what I want to do.
But Trusnick isn't the only coach who's bringing their experience from the pros to Packatan Stadium. He brought along former Browns teammate Eric Kush, who spent 8 years in the NFL, to be the Mustangs O-line coach. What made you want to go from the professional level to the high school?
Well, I got my kids coming up, so we want to build a program where kids were really proud from day one to be a part of, and really make Strongsville strong again.
What's a lesson that you've seen them teach from their experience in the NFL to the Mustangs?
Really just the hard work and the work ethic. They've been in the weight room with the best football players in the world, so they know what a good weight room looks like. They know what a good program looks like, and Coach Trusnick, he's definitely been leading us, and he's set a very good example.
Trusnick not only shows his players how to raise the score on the board, He teaches them to raise the standard.
I mean, it's something I put in place from day one. It was to raise the standard, not only on the play, right? When you step in the white line, is to raise your play, but also in the community, to be a better person, to be a better person at home, to be a better person in school, and ultimately raise the standard in your life, which ultimately will raise the standard in everybody else's.
Reporting at your Game of the Week, I'm Rachel Veda, Friday Football Frenzy.
All right, thanks, Rachel. Well, make sure to follow Rock Entertainment Sports Network on social media at Watch Rock Sports. We're traveling to local high schools all season to feature your teams on Game of the Week. You can find your school on our Instagram. Make sure you follow, like, comment, share your team's post, all that good stuff. The school with the most engagement will win Game of the Week fan favorite, and your student section will be featured.
Still to come on this show, we go back to Glenville and get to know their great linebacker, Sincere Johnson. This is Friday Football Frenzy.
You're watching Friday Football Frenzy, sponsored by Campo Roof. If you've got a leak or an aging roof, call Campo. You're watching Friday Football Frenzy, sponsored by Campo Roof. If you've got a leak or an aging roof, call Campo.
Glenville Tar Blooders, they have been a Buckeye factory from Cardale Jones to Marshawn Lattimore, two seniors from the east side of Cleveland. Hope to be the next of the names on the list of the Glenville players. They hit the field at the Shoe on Saturdays. Well, the first is one of the top-ranked linebackers in the whole country.
Sincere Johnson always knew he wanted to be a tar blooder.
A tar blooder is a man that die, sweat, and bleed Glenville football.
It's a responsibility that Glenville's senior captain has felt his whole career.
It's a spirit, it's a passion that's been going on for years, way before I was even thought of.
We know the work that we put in, and we know where we come from. It's a different type of level of ball.
He played most of last season with a torn labrum, but state coaches still picked him as the Ohio Division IV Defensive Player of the Year.
That it just made me feel like if I'm able to do that with that holding me back, just imagine what I can do 100%.
Sincere never gave himself the option to sit out.
My mindset every game was if I miss this tackle, we lose. So, if I had the torn labrum, I just had to fight through it.
He's working to be an example of the grit he says is required to grow up in Glenville.
Even when times did get hard and I feel like I can't do it no more, you have to, because who else is going to do it?
Just becoming a more great young man, you know, a better football player, and just all around a better person.
The 4-star recruit had been ranked as highly as the 3rd best linebacker in his class in the country.
Obviously, I grew up an OSU fan.
And signing with the Buckeyes is allowing him to accomplish one last goal in Glenville.
Committing to OSU has allowed me to focus on my senior year here and just playing for winning state and going 15-0 to become one of the best linebackers that come through Glenville.
That was our Zach Keenan. Well, Lake Catholic didn't play tonight. They'll host Bucktail tomorrow. And after a 12-1 finish last year, our Rachel Veda tells us how generations of leaders helped shape this program in this week's Beyond the Playbook.
Being the head football coach of the Lake Catholic Cougars runs in the family. At least that's what Marty Gibbons can say. We have gray and green running through the veins of the Lake Catholic Cougars head coach Marty Gibbons, who was added to the family roster during his dad John Gibbons' iconic years as the winningest head coach in Lake Catholic history. So how did you know that you were born to coach too?
Well, I grew up around high school football around my dad. You know, my dad was head coach for 6 years when I was first born, and then he went and coached at St. Ed's after that. And so I literally don't know anything else besides high school football and being around it and my dad and my family. So it was not a difficult choice for me.
Coaching seems to be the family business, so tell us about all of the members that you have in those leadership positions.
Yeah, so my brother-in-law Tom Lombardo is the head coach at St. Edward, and my brother Michael is the head coach at Medina Highland. My brother-in-law Matt Moran is head basketball coach at Lake Catholic, and it's even cousins that are involved, so it's a lot of fun to be a part of our family.
And while you are following in their footsteps, how are you forging your own path?
Yeah, be yourself. I mean, that's always been the number one thing. I've always told coaches that I get to know as well. Just like, you have to be yourself. You can't try to be somebody you're not. So certainly you can take some styles from some of those people, but at the end of the day, you have to totally be yourself.
What would you call your coaching career?
Oh, geez, what would I call my coaching career? You know, a work in progress. I think you're always looking to get better. So far, it's been ups and downs, a lot of good things, a lot of bad things, but definitely work in progress. And if you want to be any good at coaching, you got to always be getting better.
Your father racked up 113 victories to his name from 1985 to 98 within your 7 seasons of coaching. You're nearly halfway to reaching that milestone. So tell us how that impacts your goals.
It's great that he set the standard so high, and I think that's how we want it. You know, I think the thing that he did so well that led him to 113 wins while he was here was he took it one game at a time, and I think that's what I have to focus on, is taking one game at a time. And each year presents its own challenges, and we have a group of kids that I'm focused on them right now, give them the best that I can so we can have the best season we can.
Coaching at Lake Catholic, how does having those religious values instilled within the school environment impact your approach to coaching?
It's everything. I think that for us, that's how we separate ourselves, and that's our value proposition, is that we should be talking to people about how we feel about Jesus Christ and the life he lived and the mission that he lived, and our kids, we want them to act that way as much as possible.
And what does it mean to be a Lake Catholic Cougar?
It means the world. I grew up this way. I was baptized in the chapel at Lake Catholic. It's a huge part of who I am as a person. Being one of 9 children to go to school there and graduate from Lake Catholic, it's certainly unique. And for us, working with the program and the kids is the most fun thing about everything. And we just nonstop want to keep giving everything we can for the school.
Now, like me, we both went to high school in the area. We both graduated from John Carroll University, shared the field there. So why did you want to stay within Northeast Ohio your entire life?
Yeah, it's a great question. I've always felt endeared to this area. I've always had a passion for this area. It's not even just comfort zone. It's more or less that you can get really good at understanding the area and the ins and outs of everything. So I felt it's a good place to master your craft. So I haven't left, but it's a good thing. It's because it means a lot to me.
And what would you say is the most important lesson you teach your players beyond the playbook?
I think the biggest thing we can teach them is how to respond to things that happen in life, and football is the best place to do that. You think about all the adversity that people experience. There's just lessons to be built into a game, a week of practice, a season. So it's a natural teaching ground for football, for life.
They got a great band. And we have a great band, and we're gonna compete as a band. But I'm just joking right now. We understand what we're getting into. We understand what's gonna happen. We understand.
At least the coach at Grambling has a sense of humor. He's going to need it. They're at Ohio State tomorrow. Buckeyes favored by 55.5 points. They might have that by the second quarter. Not much more to say on that one, so let's just go to break. Also, we're going to check on Myles Garrett. He was back on the field today. Ashley Holder has the report from Berea on Friday Football Frenzy.
You're watching Friday Football Frenzy, sponsored by Campo Roof. If you've got a leak or an aging roof, call Campo.
Welcome back. Walsh Jesuit taking on Clarkson North from Canada. It's going to be a tough trip home for those guys. David Tarowski to Milan Paris. It's 9-0 early. Then Walsh goes deep in the playbook. Tarnowski to Paris, who's going to throw it deep, and Keon Mahue is wide open on the other end. That's a 61-yard touchdown, and the route is on for Walsh Jesuit. Still second quarter, Tarnowski to Paris again. Nice move. He's gone. Walsh was up 30 at the half. They win it 30-6.
Akron Hoban in blue taking on King out of Detroit. This is Nick Kinsey to Jackson Callaway. Touchdown. 13-7 Hoban at the break. 3 minutes left. King had just scored. They go for two in the lead. Andrew Knight to Christian Wheeler. Hoban goes down by 1. All right, 30 seconds left. They get it in field goal range. Jeremy Hamill hit it to win it, and he does. And the Knights walk this off, 23-21.
The Green Bulldogs are off to an 0-2 start, but they turn it around tonight. Bad snap for Talmadge, and Green recovers on the 25. Few plays later, they pitch it to Caden Warner. He goes in from 27 yards out, and it was 21-zip at the break. Third quarter, Green driving again. Tyson Hunka keeps it for the touchdown. Green gets its first W of the season, 42-7. The final tonight. Well, every Friday at 6:30, we have a cool streaming show called Stadium Showdown. It's all about the Browns' fight to get a domed stadium in Brook Park. Tonight was episode 25, and Jeff Slauson looked at just one of the lawsuits that need to be cleared up.
Now, before the Browns can officially start construction on anything, they need to figure out the lawsuit situation. We've talked about the multiple lawsuits that we have known about. That is, until this week, when former Cleveland Mayor Dennis Kucinich filed a lawsuit not only against the Browns, but the city of Cleveland as well. Now, let me take you back. We've been talking about the Modell Law. Kucinich was the architect behind the Modell Law. So for him, he feels the city of Cleveland did not argue it well enough to be able to enforce it. Essentially, what Kucinich is saying is that the city is failing to properly argue its case to enforce the Modell Law, also saying that the Browns need to abide by it. According to the filing, Kucinich says that the purpose of the Modell Law was to avoid a team from being blindsided by a team's move. That's what he believes happened in this case. He even used the term, quote unquote, lip service on how the city's attorneys have handled the law in their lawsuit against the Browns. He's asking that a judge enforce the Modell Law, and including forcing owners Jimmy and Dee Haslam to put the team up for sale. So not only is he going against the city here, claiming they didn't argue heavily enough for the Modell Law, he's obviously going against the Haslams to say you still need to put the team. So not only is he going against the Browns here and saying you still have to put the team up for sale to abide by the Modell Law, he's calling out the city, saying you did not effectively try and use the Modell Law to keep the Browns downtown. And again, quote unquote, lip service is what he used. Wild lawsuit, but one that still would need to be figured out before the Browns would potentially fulfill that move.
Good news for the Browns. Myles Garrett was back on the field today after missing yesterday's practice with a hip injury. We did talk to Myles after practice today. He didn't spend much time addressing him missing practice with that injury, except for saying these 3 words.
So how are you feeling? How's the hip feeling right now?
We're ready to go.
This is just something sort of, kind of felt a pinch or something with?
Had some pain yesterday. I'm good today.
Kevin Stefanski called Garrett's injury uncomfortable rather than a scare. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz said yesterday that this might be the best defensive line he's had with the Browns. And having the anchor of that line in Garrett going against Joe Burrow and friends is needed and gives them a chance to show what they can be this year.
Got to go put it on film. I think it has some potential. But at the end of the day, potential is just that until you execute, until you apply it. Like guys are understanding what it really takes and what it really means to be a professional and to go out there, win games, and consistently do it. It's not just an act of talent or practicing well. It's more than that.
In his career, Garrett has 9 sacks on Joe Burrow, the most recorded on any single quarterback. He'll look to add to that total on Sunday. For now in Berea, Ashley Holder, 19 News.
Your Cleveland game day starts on 19 News with the Serpentini Tailgate 19, Sunday at 11 a.m. Featuring Mark Schwab and legendary Browns players. Tailgate 19, sponsored by Serpentini Chevrolet.
Oh, we are back in it. Tailgate's coming back.
Can't wait. Almost game day.
College back last week. High school's been back.
Doesn't get better than that.
It's been fun. Say goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a good night.
See you.
Sunday.